things have only gotten worse in the Middle East, as you and I were warning they would. And the folks with the dead eyes have been making the case for new war, new genocide, new killing of civilians, just in a different part of the Arab world. This time Lebanon. We're speaking this week after a horrific massacre on Monday. 550 people killed, at least. We don't know how many are still under the rubble. In Lebanon, in southern Lebanon, we're talking about 50 kids killed, over 90 women killed. It's insane. I was reading the New York Times. It is it may be the single day record for number of people killed for many years in a conflict. And yet very little outrage here in London, where we are, or in DC, where I normally am. It's just normalised.
Well, one of the deadliest days in the history of Lebanon, and Lebanon has a hideous history of brutality, including, of course, brutality by the Israeli state. I mean, the UN Secretary General, he's saying this could be another Gaza. I mean, you know, when we're at that point, you know, what we're talking about here is the normalisation of the mass slaughter of Arabs. The world is being told in no uncertain terms by Western governments and much of the Western media that Arab life means absolutely nothing. I mean, the fact hundreds of Lebanese civilians, and this is, I think, just to show this kind of normalisation, it's worth thinking back to when Israel invaded Lebanon back in 1982, and US Republican President Ronald Reagan got on the phone to the then Israeli Prime Minister Menachem Begin and said, this is a Holocaust. You have to stop this.
Yep.
Now, the US Democratic President Joe Biden, I presume, is not on the phone to his Israeli counterpart, yelling down the phone to stop this Holocaust. And that was, you know, I mean, we've seen these terrible Israeli atrocities in Lebanon before. But the fact is, in Gaza, we've now had nearly a year, and we've had some of the worst atrocities of the 21st century live streamed to us every single day. And you would imagine now there's some sort of, well, whoa here, come on. This has to be contained. There isn't any of that.
It's the opposite, right? It's what if you're the Israelis, you're like, well, they didn't stop us for a year in Gaza. Why not do Lebanon?